was born in Srinagar.
You don't choose sea, the sea chooses you, right?
But I never thought that I'll have a career at sea.
Like, what brought you to marine?
You're forced to be independent. You're forced to take responsibility.
An irony, the things that save your life also got hit.
I remember having sleepless nights, sitting on a chair, and every time she'll go to 30 degrees, I would think maybe this is the last roll of my life. She's never going to come back.
Being on the vessel and then being back to the classroom.
Even today, if you give me an option of going and sitting in a classroom, I'd love to.
That's because
If you do not put yourself outside the comfort zone, the growth is not going to happen. Definitely a firm believer of full-time versus executive. I think I have to be modest, but I think I'm fairly intelligent.
I'm sure about that.
The class was 20% Indian. This and this and this and this and more.
Okay, so let's begin with our rapid fire. From the calm of the bridge to the chaos of the boardroom. From steering ships through the storms to steering people through challenges. This is a story of a man who has been a true leader. Welcome back to another episode of Sailing Success with Arkship, where we bring you real stories of leaders who have seen grit, growth and greatness and changed the maritime world. Today's episode, Captain of Change. Gurpreet's voyage from sea to CEO is about having unfiltered conversation about crisis and comeback. Hello, Mr. Gurpreet.
Hi, Jarati. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, thank you for coming. And you are bang on with our theme of marine, like on blue.
Yeah, so it was, I hadn't planned for blue, but it just happens to be one of my favorite colors. So that's how it's blue.
That's amazing. Mr. Gurpreet, I'd like to start with the basics. My favorite part, that is knowing everyone's childhood.
Okay, so let me give you a crisp couple of minute run. Yeah, I was born in Srinagar, spent the first 5-10 years of my life there, and then came to Delhi, grew up, finished my school in Delhi. And like most kids, I had no clue what I wanted to do after my class 12. But what I did know is I didn't want to be a doctor. Yeah, so I didn't take biology in my plus 2. And at the end of my high school, grade 12, I had joined the Delhi University and was doing economics. Yeah, but pretty soon I got bored with it, and I met some friends who were out at sea, and I realized that this is my path. This is my calling. So that's how my interest in the maritime world, and yeah, that's how I started.
That's amazing. Like they say, you don't choose sea, the sea chooses you, right?
Well, you could be right, and I think you're right, because if you look at my first 16 years, I don't think I'd ever thought, though I knew about the career, but I never thought that I'll have a career at sea. But then those couple of months when I spent time with my friend and wasn't really satisfied with the university life, and yeah, it just happened, and then there was no looking back.
That's amazing. So, Mr. Gurpreet, when we talk about sailing, okay, we always think about adventures and the amazing sunsets that we see. But I think there's a other part of the story. So, would you like to highlight something on that?
So I'll tell you, sailing as a profession, I think it's a fantastic profession. Not that, well, today I can say I've seen other professions as well, but back then I hadn't. But I think it gives you a very strong foundation for everything in life. At a very young age, you get onto a ship, you're forced to be independent, you're forced to take responsibility, you travel the world. There's a lot of fun, but I think more than the fun, there's a lot of hard work and hardship as well. And I think these basic lessons in life then set you up for larger things in life. I know, well, the world is evolving, and the maritime world is also evolving. So life 30 years ago at sea and life today is very different.
Yeah.
But I still believe it's a great career to have.
Absolutely. So, talking about hardships, I know of a story from you
Hmm.
about pulling a 35,000 ton weight in water in a fraction of minutes. So, tell us about that.
Yeah, I know which incident you're talking about. Yeah, this was one of the ships. In fact, my first vessel on which I was a captain. And I won't go into the details, but all I can say is that there were some valves on board which were leaking, and because of the leaks, the stability of the vessel was compromised. And if quick action was not taken, then the vessel could have capsized. And what made the situation worse was that this mixture of this liquid which was moving around had both oil and water, and we all know, you can't discharge oil overboard. So I mean, as a young, when I was 27, 28-year old, I had to quickly decide what to do: pump oil overboard, or find another solution. But I was supported by a very good set of crew. We all came down to our swimming trunks and we jumped into the tank, and yeah, and we were able to go down and manually close that valve which was not holding, and which then did not allow the water to move around, and then we took care of it. Yeah, so there have been numerous instances like this, but
Okay.
that was definitely
Yeah,
a
I'm
scary
sure.
one.
Yeah, I'm sure it's scary. Like when there are incidences when you like when you see and there's nothing, no one's gonna come and help you.
Yeah,
So does the fear creep in?
it does, and so on my first ship when I was a cadet, and when you're a cadet, you're very young. You've just done barely enough training and sometimes zero training in the maritime field, and you put on board. And our ship used to cross Pacific, and it used to roll like crazy, yeah, 30, 40 degrees. And every time she'll go to 30 degrees, I would think maybe this is the last roll of my life. She's never going to come back. Yeah, but then I spoke to my senior cadets and officers. They said, no, the ship is designed in a manner that, she'll go to a certain angle and then she'll come back as long as the stability is maintained.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these were some of my initial experiences, but let me also come to another very frightening experience. This was on a small tanker on which I was the chief officer.
Okay.
We were going to make landfall in Taiwan, and there was a cyclone which was coming, and in fact everyone thought that the cyclone will make landfall, and once that happens, a lot of energy is dissipated, yeah, and it tones down in terms of the damage it can do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this case, it did make landfall, but it then crossed over, and Taiwan is quite narrow, in terms of the width of the country. And it came and hit us, and we were literally in the eye of the storm, or perhaps a few miles away from the storm, and we had nowhere to go. These storms move at amazing pace. The ship is well compared. The ship doesn't can't move as fast as
Yeah.
the container vessels or whatever. So huge damage we had. Our main mast, since you know
Okay.
the industry, the main
Yeah.
mast fell down. It fell down on the lifeboat. The David fell down.
Okay.
The lifeboat came to the deck. The anchors pierced the forepeak tank, and there was flooding in the forepeak tank. Yeah, but luckily for us, it passed after about 12 or 18 hours, and then we got support from the shore, and we stayed there for about 2 weeks fixing everything.
Okay. What an irony. The things that save your life also got hit.
Absolutely, yeah. And and if if you're the mate, starboard lifeboat is just outside your cabin.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and suddenly there's a loud thud, and you see that the main mast is on the lifeboat.
My God, I would have been scared for sure. So, Mr. Gurpreet, in these times that you have sailed, have there been an incident where you have felt, okay, I think this is it, and we would not perhaps survive this?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The only two instances where perhaps I had the feeling was the very first one when I told you I was a cadet, and
Yeah.
we were, because of lack of knowledge or
Yes.
ignorance, and I thought the ship would never come back. And secondly, yes, the other instance when there was flooding in
Yeah.
the cargo hold. Yeah, that was the time I was really really scared. And I think when I was the second instance when I
Yeah.
was the captain, there was flooding. I think that was more scary because not just fear of life, it's also the responsibility of 30 other
Yes.
lives on board and the ship itself and the cargo on board.
And we all know that you have been very responsible of the actions you take and you have owned it always. Speaking of which, I also know of an incident that
Hmm.
happened not on the sea but on the land.
Yeah,
So it was, I think, the Haldia Port Trust,
yeah,
and I would also like you to highlight on that incident a bit for us.
yeah, yeah. Uh, that was an amazing project, very interesting, and if I may use the word, exciting as well. So we had set up this facility in Haldia Dock. The intention was to mechanize the port handling.
Okay.
The end result being, we increase the output and
Mhm.
improve the productivity. But as a result, whenever there is automation, some jobs are lost. So we brought in our company, the company I used to work for, brought in the equipment and we operationalized the project.
Okay.
But as a result of it, some 300 to 400 people were to lose their jobs, yeah, or they had to find alternate jobs, or they had to upskill, yeah, and repurpose themselves and work in other spots in the port. We did that. I mean, we started the operations, and the labor union, and which in Bengal, I would say the labor union and the mafias. There's a very thin line
Right.
between the two. Of course, they gave us a very hard time and kept threatening us, but we did not budge from our stand. But then on one fateful night, they kidnapped three of our officers,
Okay.
our operations manager, our technical manager, I think one assistant operations manager, the technical manager's wife, and their 1 year old daughter, all at gunpoint. And they drove them to the railway station, put them on a train to Kolkata, and said never come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean at that point, we as a company we had to decide: are we going to go back and work,
Yeah.
or are we going to look for other options? Yeah, the group I used to work for back then was the Louis Dreyfus Armatures of France
Okay.
and ABG Ports of India. It was a joint venture. So we decided that if we don't have, I mean, if we don't want to go and work in Haldia ourselves, given the situation, I don't think we have the moral ground to expect other professionals to go and work there. And eventually, we decided that this is something which we would not continue with till
Yeah.
there's an environment in which we could work.
How did you feel about it? Like from leading that project, I'm sure it was your baby to take care of, and you were emotionally and also like emotionally attached to the project. Maybe this was one of your dreams that you may have lived. So, did you see them shatter at that point in time?
Of course, I was emotionally attached to the project, and more so because after I made the shift from sailing to shore, it was the first role I was in,
Right.
and the first project or the first role which you do, you definitely get emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
I remember having sleepless nights sitting on a chair in Bombay because that's where I was while the project was in Kolkata, feeling helpless, not being able to do anything.
Right.
Yeah, and then to answer your question, did it affect me? Yes, it did. But I think in business and in life, it's very important that, when things go bad or go wrong or don't go as to plan, you pick up and move on. You can't just keep fretting or pondering over what's happened. And also over the years, I realized, and I think every business person must realize, that the less emotional attachment you have to your business, the better it is for yourself and for the
Absolutely.
business as well.
That's a very good takeaway for all of us,
It
I
is,
am
it
sure.
is. Yeah.
And I think not only business, but also when you're personally dealing with situations, I think this is one takeaway that,
I know, and sometimes I talk to my wife that it took me 50 years to realize this. I wish
yeah,
I knew this when I was 30. My life could have been different, my decisions might have been different.
yeah,
But yeah, like they say, hindsight
yeah,
is always 6 by 6.
absolutely. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, Mr. Gurpreet, you have been a Delhi boy,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, yes
Never,
and no.
yeah, so never seen a sea,
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah.
But you chose marine as your field.
Mm-hmm.
You worked in offshore as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you took a leap and you thought of studying
Yeah,
again. Yeah? You did your MBA from HEC Paris.
right.
So now let's get to the exciting part about your life in Paris and what made you take that leap.
Okay. I think like the point we started with, that I hadn't planned to be out at sea.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I just got up and I told my parents I'm going to start a career at sea. And my parents thought this is the whim which will pass, and they just shrugged it aside and didn't take me seriously. But then in a matter of 2 or 3 months, I applied to a few companies in Mumbai, and I was selected for a position. Yeah, before I went on my first ship, my mother said, "Better do whatever you want, but studying is very important, and promise me that you will definitely be a graduate. Yeah, you will definitely complete your graduation, because back then there was no
Yeah.
BSc nautical science, there was nothing else. Yeah,
Right.
and we're all Indians, and we know in our society, if I may say, there's a lot of weightage
Yes.
given to are you a graduate or not? Are you
Yes.
a 10th plus 2,
Yeah.
10th fail, 10th pass, so yeah. She said, yeah, I don't want you to be just school graduate. And also, I think a bit of peer pressure,
Yes.
because my entire family is very well read, very well educated. My father was an IS officer, my sisters are both doctors. That's one reason I chose not to be. So I did. I promised her. And while I was at sea, after 2 years, I signed up for distance learning
Okay.
in Delhi University. Yeah, I did my BCom there. And I think that's where, between the conversation with my mother and the BCom which I did, I think the seeds were sown for me to kind of mentally prepare myself to go on and study further.
Okay.
Not just that, also I had a mentor, one of my seniors on the ship, who actually told me that if you want to leave this sea life, you should do it as soon as you make captain, or 3 or 4 years after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was quite certain. I think by the time I made captain, I was already certain that I'm going to spend another 3 years at sea, and then I'm going to step ashore and study further,
Right.
and then get back into life ashore.
Right. So, how was it for you? Like, was it's obviously very different, like being on the vessel and then being back to the classroom. I think that's one part most of us do not like.
Yeah.
Because if you ask me, I would not like to go back to classroom.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you get that courage?
Perhaps that's where the difference lies. Even today, if you give me an option of going and sitting in a classroom, I'd love to. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, going back to school or to college, I think it was like a dream come true, because I did always feel that, because of the fact that I joined C straight after my class 12, I missed that entire experience of college life. Yeah. And I think my MBA gave me all of that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, it was great. One of the best phases of my life. I was there with my wife and son. Okay. And it was amazing.
So, Mr. Gurpreet, talking about MBA, was it different than studying in India?
In my experience, in my context, studying in India versus studying in Paris, for me, there was a difference, but I don't think I can pinpoint what the difference was.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is because there was a long time gap.
Okay.
The last formal education I had in India was grade 12, and after
Right.
20 years, I did my MBA.
Right.
So, yeah, world moves on and things change. But I think more than the experience of the education, I think it's more the context of the cultural shock of getting used to a new environment, a new
Right.
culture. And I did feel that the younger classmates which I had with
Okay.
me, they did experience a lot of it. In my case, of course, because I was older and I had been at sea and traveled the world, so perhaps that the degree of cultural shock was much less.
Right.
Yeah, but I think it's not so much the education, but the environment around you, which is different, and that's what you need to get used to.
Right. But at any point, did you feel that being the oldest in the class has been in your favor and advantage?
Well, I wasn't the oldest. I was amongst the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the average age in my class was around 28.
Okay.
When I started, I was 34.
Hmm.
And the oldest, my student colleague, was 38.
Okay.
It didn't have any disadvantage. In fact, I would say it had certain advantages because a lot of the younger kids looked up to you.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think apart from that, in classroom and in case discussions and all, you could bring more of the real life context.
Right.
Compared to a 20-year-old who just finished his education and comes into an MBA, and you have someone, not just me, anyone who has 15-20 years of experience, he brings a lot of real life context to the classroom.
Yes.
Which is, I think, very important.
So for our listeners, do you suggest get some experience on field, work for some time, and then do the MBA so that, do you think it's more beneficial when you do that way?
Yeah, so in my opinion, WorkX is extremely important. I think the idea of finishing your graduation and then going for a postgraduate course is not ideal.
Yeah.
I know that's what the norm is in India. But in my view, the biggest disadvantage of that is that you're just not even applying, you're just learning one theoretical concept after another. Whereas if you do one leg of your graduation and then go to the real world, you learn how the world works.
Right.
B, you learn to apply what you've learned. And then you also identify gaps in your own learning, which you can go back and work upon.
Right.
So therefore, in my case, I mean, in my view, definitely you must have WorkX before you go in for a postgraduate.
Correct. That's a good way to put it all together. So I would just like to share one personal experience.
Sure.
After I met you a couple of months back, I decided to enroll for MBA.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yes.
Congratulations.
And
fantastic.
Seriously, the was really inspired. I went home after meeting you. I told my husband that, come on, he just gave up everything. He went and he did it like on the field.
Yeah.
And I can at least do the, executive one. Okay. And that the next day I enrolled myself and this is my first semester. It's already done. So thank you for that inspiration. And I really hope that all the listeners today will take that home, because I really, really feel that a lot of us around here, they do not want to really go to the classroom or start studying again, or too scared to take that step. Once you have an established job, you are in that atmosphere. So you just feel that, no, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, you're very right. And I think what you're hinting at is a comfort zone. Yeah.
Yes.
Though you haven't mentioned that, but let me come to that and let me talk about that for a minute. I think it's very important that all of us at some point or at regular intervals put ourselves outside our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because if you do not put yourself outside the comfort zone, the growth is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So for me, it's extremely essential. Yeah. You must challenge yourself. You must embrace new challenges, embrace the unknown, and then see what's out there.
Absolutely. Like they say, the change is the only constant. And
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
think, yes, we all should realize it sooner or later and take that leap how you took. So,
But sorry, on that
yes,
MBA, all kind of education is good,
yeah,
but I'm definitely a firm believer of full time versus executive. Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure about
yeah,
that.
and I mean I hear you, because
Yeah,
if you're doing executive, you're only giving up half of your comfort zone,
yes,
yeah, not the full entirety. And then we all have responsibilities
absolutely.
and other things in life.
Yeah,
Yeah, but to the extent, if someone is in a position
yeah,
that he or she can go out and do a full time course, they must.
yes,
It's a
yeah.
life changing experience.
I'm sure. And with giving up my half comfort zone, I still feel that there are so many things to learn
Mm.
and apply. And it changes you, like an postgraduate degree changes you as a person.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, I think what you say is right. I hear you. And I think I keep that step for the next degree that I will get after this MBA.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Gurpreet, have you been a very intelligent person in the classroom always?
I don't think so. I was always somewhere in the middle,
Okay.
but now, I think I have to be modest, but I think I'm fairly intelligent. But at least back in the classroom,
Yeah.
I didn't like to work hard,
Mm-hmm.
and it was difficult for me to focus on
Yeah.
one subject for too long.
Yeah.
Of course, now people have all kind of words for it in medical terms. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So actually, that's one reason why
Mm.
when I learned about the maritime and life, I
Yeah.
was so hooked on. I thought this is the end of studying. No more studying for me.
Right.
And then imagine what life gave me from one end, like from where I was no studying to, this and this and this and this and
Yeah.
more. Yeah, but it's been a wonderful experience, and I've loved
Yeah.
every part of it.
I'm sure. And we see the difference. We see how that has shaped you
Hmm.
for what you are today. So I'm sure it has been a very integral part of your journey. So, Mr. Gurpreet, for
Hmm.
our listeners who think it's too late to restart,
Hmm.
one piece of advice that you would like to give it to them.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I disagree with that statement that it's too late. It's too late to start. I think there's this book called Limitless. I forget the name of the author, and I very strongly believe in that. That the only limits you put on yourself are the ones which you create in your own mind. So
Wow.
if you are able to get rid of those shackles and think beyond it, then you can achieve whatever you've set your mind on.
That's very well put together. So, Mr. Gurpreet, I would also like to ask, like, I'm too curious about
Hmm.
your MBA. Okay.
Sure, ask me.
Yes.
It was a fantastic period of my life, and
Yes.
being in Paris is the cherry on the cake.
I'm sure. I'm sure you have loved that part as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you that you mentioned about being fairly intelligent in your
Mm.
classroom.
Hmm.
So you have not just completed your MBA, but you have led it,
Hmm. Oh
right?
yes, yeah,
Yes. You were the president of MBA Council at
right,
HEC.
right,
So
right.
would you like to highlight your experience across that?
That's right. I was the president of the MBA Student Council, and this was in the year 2008. And in fact, that's been my only brush with politics. And back then, I think now it's quite the norm. But even in 2008, I and we were a council of 5 people who were standing. There were 3 groups. We did complete racial geographical profiling of the entire batch,
Okay.
because the entire the entire batch had to vote.
Yeah.
And we wrote out notes
Okay.
in Hindi, in English, in Korean, whatever language, in Greek, French, Italian, yeah. And each student had a pigeonhole, and we went and dropped it there.
Okay.
A. B. That's when I realized the power of India. The class was 20% Indian.
My goodness.
Yeah. Not surprising. One
Yeah,
sixth of the world is
absolutely.
Indian. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think 1/6. Yeah. Yeah, and then we went, and there was that normal canvassing and
Yeah.
speeches and all of that, and yeah, so I and my team we were voted in as the winning team, and I was the president of the council. It was a good position,
Yeah.
very difficult position, because France, as you know, is very socialist,
Yeah.
and the college also had support from the French government. So the main task we had was to balance the interests of the students
Okay.
versus the administration. Well, more than interest, I would say the pace at which things would change, because France was and is still very bureaucratic,
Yeah.
perhaps more than India.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was very interesting to deal with the French bureaucracy as well.
That's great. So, any plans to, like, you have done so many things in life, right? So, do we see you getting into politics soon? Ever?
Politics? No, not at all. Not at all. Politics is not for me. In fact, the incident I spoke about, the
Okay.
president council of my MBA, I think that was the closest I ever got to politics, and I think I'm going to stay far away from that.
Yeah, I'm sure, because then Marine would miss you. So,
You're being very kind. I think everyone is indispensable, so no one is
Okay.
ever missed.
Yes, but then there are faces and there are names which leave a strong mark on you as a person and on industry as a whole. So,
Well, you're right in saying that, but tell me one great name who passed away or went away and the businesses did not survive.
Yeah.
Let me take the example of Apple. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Apple was synonymous with Steve Jobs. Yeah.
Right.
Steve Jobs went away. Tim Cook came in, and the company is doing much better than it was doing before.
that's
So
true.
yeah, I also believe that
Yeah.
no one is indispensable.
True. Very true. Yeah. And you being modest by saying that.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think these are realities of life, which we must. The sooner we embrace them, the better it is.
That's true. That's true. Mr. Gurpreet, this brings us
Mhm.
to a very exciting round of this episode,
Sure.
which is the rapid fire. So,
Okay.
are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I think you're going to embarrass me, but I'm ready to be embarrassed.
Not at all. Okay, so let's begin with our rapid fire.
Sure.
Okay. First port you ever fell in love with?
The first port, I would say it was the port of Vancouver.
A storm you never want to relive.
The story I spoke about earlier,
Yeah.
of the west coast of Taiwan, where the main mast came down and the lifeboat came
Yeah.
down. I don't want to be part of it ever again.
Scary it is. One book every leader should read.
Well, I think I alluded to it.
Yeah.
And I would refer to the same one again, Limitless.
Yeah, that's amazing. Tea or coffee on the bridge?
Always coffee, no matter where I am.
You're a coffee person.
Absolutely.
The ocean in one word.
Endless opportunities. That's 2 words.
But yeah, just like the sea, right? Yeah. So
Mhm.
that was an amazing rapid fire. See, we did not embarrass you,
Not
and
at
you
all.
answered it very well.
You were very kind. I don't know if I answered well or not,
Yeah.
but you were very kind.
No, but you did. Absolutely, you did. So, Mr. Gurpreet, one
Mhm.
more thing that really comes to my mind
Sure.
is that what has been very difficult for you? Was it the boardroom or was it sailing on the vessel?
Okay, that's a good question. What was more difficult, boardroom or sailing? I would say none.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say none. I've enjoyed being at sea equally as much I've enjoyed my career ashore.
Okay.
I think what's important is that you give your best to whatever you're doing. Be honest to yourself
Mhm.
and to your job. And don't get emotionally entangled or attached with the task at hand. I think if you do that, you will definitely find satisfaction wherever you are.
Very well said. So, Mr. Gurpreet, that brings us to
Mhm.
end of this episode.
Okay.
I truly enjoyed the conversation. One parting thoughts for our listeners.
Yeah, well, Jarati, thank you. It's been wonderful being here. And I think before we end, I would go back and emphasize on what I said earlier. I think each one of ourselves has to constantly reinvent ourselves, upgrade ourselves. So we must go out there, take the challenges, embrace them,
Yeah.
and try to be, if I may say, a better version of ourselves. Yeah, I think that's the thought I have, which I would like to share with the audience.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you are coming and saying it loud because of all the experience you have had. You have lived them and you're sharing with all of us, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and to add to that, just like I mentioned earlier, while we were waiting outside, this morning I was researching two more courses,
Yeah.
yeah, which I want to participate in. There's
Right.
one in Switzerland and one in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just have to see what the schedule is and how it can match my calendar and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love doing that. Yeah.
We'll look forward to it. And you are one very powerful speaker. I think you should do this often so that all of us get inspired and keep learning from you, because that's the only way to grow, right?
Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment because I remember when I was in business school, and that's the first time I gave a presentation. Yeah, and I was scared.
Okay.
You know, in a classroom of 160 people, you need to stand up and speak, and that's the first time I was doing that. And I was like in a terrible space. But then that's one part of your MBA as well. Yeah. Every day you stand up and you make presentations and you go and speak in a classroom full of 100 people, 200
Yeah.
people. And I think it just boosts your confidence and sets you up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Gurpreet. Keep sharing stories which are so exciting. We look forward to what you do next. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Yarati.